This certainly makes the spirit strong. It's been a long time since we've been up at this stage area here at Forest Chase. It's been some years. But listening to the rally, the march come around the top corners from Cuttergurrup, Kings Park into Forest Chase, it was like listening to rolling thunder. Yagan camped and hunted on the foreshores of the Derbarl Yarrigan. We are still here today, and so are our children, and so are our grandchildren. The blankets for the people, our connection to each other in unity and solidarity, right across this nation, right across this land. Black is for our blood of identity to who we are as a people. Black is the colour of our beautiful skin. Black is who we are. Blackness is where we find things in life, things that change who we are. Black is strong, loud and proud. Red is the connection of our bloodlines to the thumb lines and to the truth of what's happened historically in this country to our people. Red is for our red rooty, the ochre that ties us to our moieties in the southwest, the Wardong, the crow and the manage, the white cockatoo. Yellow is for the sun, the giver of life, that grows the flora, that feeds the fauna, that we and our ancestors have eaten off from time immemorial since time began on this land in the great southern lands of Australia. Our ancestors' blood survived the massacres. Our ancestors' blood survived the killing fields, the poisoning of the water holes, the attempted genocide. Our ancestors' blood survived the forced occupation. It survived the 1905 Native Welfare Act where they took our children away, put them into missions. Our ancestors' blood has survived right up until today. We will never know how great we are unless we know how great our ancestors were. Our ancestors were in spirit, strong, one with the land spiritually and one with the universe. What an incredible beginning of the most ancient landmass that and housed the oldest culture on that landmass. I was asked to say a few words here today and I will. I'll keep it brief. However, I think it's really important that today we give a tribute. We'll give a number of tributes. Today we give tributes to all of our people who have died and been killed in custodial institutions right across this country. We will never forget and we'll always remember those to whom had fallen in the darkness at the backlocks of some cell and or in prison and in particular in juvenile detention. May their spirits rest in peace. The lonely death of a young boy in Roban named John Pat. John Pat became the symbolic death that ignited this country through the Aboriginal resistance and the pressure on the streets to the government to ignite the Royal Commission into Aboriginal deaths in custody. John Pat Rest in peace, our young brother. Mr. Ward, who was transported in the back of a police van from the Western Desert Block into Kalgoorlie, and he died in the back of that van. He was cooked like a chook in an oven. He fell to his death in the middle of the hottest months without water, without aircon, no airflow in the back of that van, and that man, a respected elder from the Western Desert Block, fell to his death. Vincenti, the son of Mary Vincenti, died as they shot him through the head from the tower at the old Canning Vale prison. Ricky Vincenti was held at the grasp of a brother's hands to scuttle the wall. He got on top of the wall, the perimeter vehicle waiting for him over the other side. When he was to drop to the ground, they could have arrested him and then taken him back into the prison. They shot him through the head and they killed him on the wall. Jaluka dies in the back blocks of the South Hedland police cells in pain, sick and suffering. Like so many other deaths, they neglected her screams out for help and they watched her die in front of their eyes. Jaluka Jew, rest in peace, our young sister. Then we come to what Dumbarton today wanted to make sure that a tribute of recognition was given to the following young people. These young people have fallen at the hands of neo-Nazi groups, far-right extreme groups in this city some years ago. Young Louis Johnston. Louis was walking home from a restaurant where he used to eat after the Scarborough Hotel. Louis was walking up Curran Road when a car pulled up with a group of modular youth in it. A lot of them got out of their car and they beat Louis to death simply for being black, simply for being Aboriginal, simply for being indigenous to this land. They took his life away. Cassius Turvey, just recently, rest in peace, our young brother. Selena's brother, cousin, son. Cassius Turvey, belted over the head with a steel pole. Rest in peace, our young brother, Cassius. Bask in the strength of your ancestors, for we know you're only asleep. Only asleep. We'll never forget you, Cassius. We'll keep you alive for all time to our community. Then comes a death that shook this country. Then came the death that shook this city. Then came the death of young Cleon Jackman. Cleon was a young boy on his bike when a car pulled up and the car was seen by people to whom had dragged young Cleon into the back of the car. Cleon was never ever seen alive again. His young body was so severely hacked up, tortured. In his death, the media were refuted from being able to print and or tell of the severity of his torture. Uncountable cigarette burns put out on his body. His skin cut to the flesh. Cleon Jackman died a horrible death at the hands of two prostitutes and members of a bikie gang here in Perth who also had links with the far right-wing extreme groups of neo-Nazis. Rest in peace, our beautiful young brother. during the times that here in Western Australia, the then Attorney General, Jim McGinty, stated, we're seeing Nazi emblems and symbols appearing on the streets of inner Perth and the suburbs. And along came Mr. Jack Van Tongeren. Jack Van Tongeren was head of a Nazi movement here in Perth, the National Front. Jack Van Tongeren burnt a number of Asian businesses to the ground, and a number of them were Chinese restaurants. Just across the road from Dumbarton there was a restaurant called the Man Lin. Myself and Selena, we got to know the owners of that restaurant. They were beautiful people till the morning that they went into their business and the fucking business was burned to the ground by neo-Nazi groups. Elijah Doherty up in Kalgoorlie. Elijah fell to his death when a car knocked him off his bike and killed him. And the one thing I'll never forget was when I saw the Wongai mobs go into massive street protests, smashed up the police cars, smashed up the local police station when they stated no more. Elijah Doherty got at least some form of support and recognition as a young boy who came to his death from people to whom also have got these extreme right-wing and conservative views. As Megan said, we are here today to stand in the unification and the solidarity with Camp Sovereignty. Camp Sovereignty is an important movement for what it represents to our people and our political will to ensure that our human rights in this country are put as a priority by our people, and we fight against any deterrent to the rights of our people and being human beings. May our campfires burn forever. In 1991, in just closing here for today for Dumbarton, I remember at the Kayana gatherings, the Kayana festivals, for who may remember those gatherings, again on the foreshore of the Derby Yerrigan. In closing the first Kayana, and at the centre part of that gathering, 25,000 people stood, and I saw the flickering of a flame. And that was coming off a tribute that we placed centre in that gathering, which was a rock formation which had a flame that was a tribute to all Aboriginal people who had died in custody. When I saw that flame flicker, the words came through my mind that became the maxim of Dumbarton, became symbolically a maxim, a word that our people could unite and fight for their rights through, which was, may our campfires burn forever. I just want to call my grandson, young Rob, who will close this Dumbarton tribute, and we're going to give a tribute to John Pat through a written poem that was written for him many years ago, and I think that this is an apt reality to close Dumbarton's position.
Kaya Yuma, it's good seeing all these people here. I didn't actually expect this big of a crowd today. And seeing and coming along with the march, it was good hearing our voices be heard, and it's making a stand up for us. Thank you. I just want to read this poem about the young John Pat that died. He was only 16 when he passed away due to how the justice system treated him and how he was neglected by the authorities that detained him. Shame! Shame! Yeah. God of love, the fire said, forget the past. The past is dead. But all I see in front of me is a concrete floor, a cell door, and John Pat. Tear out the page, forget his age. 16. Thin skull they cried, that's why he died. But I can't forget the silhouette of a concrete floor, a cell door, and John Pat. The end product of Gadia law, which is what white man's law, is a viaduct for fang and claw, and a place to dwell like Robin's hell of a concrete floor, a cell door, and John Pat. He's there, where? There in their minds now, deep within, there to prance a sidelong glance, a silly grin to remind them all of a Gadia wall, a concrete floor, a cell door, and John Pat. His death represents a myriad of tragedies across this country, many of whom go unnoticed. And
Thanks, Robert. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Double Time Tribute this morning.
Hey, Kai Mob, my name's Marion Hedley McKay. I'm a Wajak Yoga. I'm also a Ewart Yoga, and my bloodline goes down to Menang in Albany and up to Northampton as well through my great-great-grandmother on the Yamaji side. I just want to say thank you to everyone for today. You know, we had a proud show of solidarity and unity today, and everyone needs to understand that we are the sovereign owners of the land, the sovereign custodians of the lands right across this country, blackfellas are. And we are not going to take racism from neo-Nazis who stem from the genocidal people that founded this country. They don't dictate who comes to our lands, always was, always will be Aboriginal land. This here is Nijamura Bujarati, a Wajak Puka. Now, I'll be your MC for this rally here while we're here today. First of all, before anyone else comes up, I want to introduce my Uncle Ted Wilkes, who is a deadly Wajak elder, and I ask that every single one in this audience pay respect to my uncle while he speaks, because he has been one of the founders of a lot of our Aboriginal services that we have today, and has walked the talk and has the knowledge and experience that deserves and commands the respect of every single one of you standing here.
We have to make sure that we listen to one another. We know that everybody wants to talk. Thank you, my niece, for allowing me to get up here and talk today. I sat out here and waited for you because I couldn't go up there and walk. I'm nearly 70 and I'm starting to lose my power in my legs, and I waited here for a couple hours for you. And when you come through and I could hear the noise coming in, I started to smile, because this is what we have to be. We've got to be the heroes of the fight for proper rights of all us Australians, but mainly for the people we call First Nations. We've been slaughtered. There's an ongoing genocide in this country. They shot all our black men when they got here. Don't worry, they've done this before in other countries. They are only doing what they know they can do and assimilate us and make us turn into white blackfellas. No way. We've got our own culture. We've got our own way of living. We've got our own language. Everybody here. I fight for the health of our people. I've always fought for the health of our people. And I'm glad that people do recognise who we are. Some of us who go out there and fight with white fellas behind the doors and in the offices and against the governments.
We got a lot of work to do because the Labor Party in this country has gone too fucking right. If we're going to be able to initiate a new pathway, we need to talk to the other side of government too. We can't depend on the Labor Party to get us through. We can't depend on the Greens to get us through. We have to depend on them all, and we'll fight to the end because that's who we are. We always were and we always will be First Nations Aboriginal people. I don't want to say much more, but thank you for listening to me. I just got back from Victoria. I married a woman over there called Margie Thorpe. We've separated now, but we still talk to one another. And I know the Thorpes, and I know the mob over there. I know that Camp Sovereignty is a place where you can go. I've been up there and I've sat there with them, and it's a sacred piece of land. And to hear that my in-laws have been disturbed over there and our people, that's a shocking thing to know. You Nazis out there, just watch out for us, okay? Just watch out. And you white fellas running the governments, look out for us and our colleagues. All of you mob, right? Just push them out if they're not going to be effective. Hey, thank you for allowing me to talk. I'll say the last thing again, what I said before. Pure to our spirit, the Bible. Alright? And just so you white fellas know this, there's no pearly gates up there for white fellas who've come in here with evil and bad intentions. There's no pearly gates up here. There's just a big black serpent called the Waggle who can turn into a rainbow serpent when he wants to. And you won't get through the pearly gates if you've been horrible, evil, and negative towards us First Nations people, if you're a white collar or if you've got ancestral pathways elsewhere. Thank you. Love yous. That was beautiful.
One of our non-Aboriginal brothers and sisters up here. Where's JJ?
It's alright, man. Hello. Thank you for having me. My name is JJ. I'm a member of Socialist Alternative and a Friends of Palestine WA. And thank you all so much again for coming out today. I think it is so important that we have taken this stand today. This wave of racist, far-right demonstrations that we have seen across the country are a sick joke. While the media have spent 2 There were no good people at those marches. There were racists at those marches. Racists and Nazis and hapless idiots who follow racists and Nazis. Look no further than the attack on camp sovereignty to see who these people are. Masked, militant Nazis at the core of this movement who feel so confident and emboldened after these demonstrations that they march down and ruthlessly beat the true custodians of this land. Shame. And now they want to come out in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk and decry supposed political violence. So it's political violence when some far-right dickhead is shot on the other side of the world, but it's not political violence when masked thugs beat up a cab of Indigenous people. It's not political violence when Israel kills tens of thousands of people in Gaza. It's not political violence when they displace millions of Palestinians from their homes and commit genocide. Is it not political violence when the Australian government supports this? What about when the Australian government kills thousands of Indigenous people in custody? Is that not political violence? This state was founded on political violence. This flag they love so much is bathed in the blood of political violence, of the slaughter of millions of Indigenous people. We have to see what is happening in this country as a part of a growing threat internationally. All around the world, the far right have been emboldened by the Trump administration and the brutality that they are unleashing upon migrants. They are insurgent, they are confident, they are organizing, and they are winning. We on the left have to get organized. We have to counter this movement. We have to confront it. We have to say no, you cannot march through our streets uncontested. This is Indigenous land. Migrants are welcome here. No Nazis, never again. I am also here on behalf of Friends of Palestine WA, and we can't forget that these racist marches were in part organised as a response to the hundreds of thousands of people who have marched to end Israel's genocide in Gaza and the Australian government's complicity in it. They hate to see a sea of hundreds of thousands of people crossing the harbour bridge, what they see as their national symbol, carrying Palestinian and Indigenous flags. They hate that we have built a mass anti-war, anti-racist movement in this country, the likes of which we haven't seen since the invasion of Iraq. Well, I say, good. We will keep marching together, despite the Nazi tears, until the Australian government ends its support for the Israeli genocide, ends the two-way arms embargo, and places immediate sanctions on Israel, and until all of Palestine is free. This massive, diverse, anti-racist movement is really important. It's an important part of pushing back against those racists, and we should all work to make it bigger and more inclusive. So finally, in that vein, thank you all again for coming out today to build that urgent anti-fascist response. But we can't just march today, go home and pat ourselves on the back and then pack it in. Unfortunately, the racists are not slowing down. They marched again today, and they have announced that they are marching again on October 18th. And they're going to keep organising. So you can bet your ass that I will not be sitting at home. We, United Against Bigotry and Racism, alongside Megan and Marianne, have called another demonstration, another counter-protest for October 18th, and we will be standing against their bigotry, and we will confront them again. So please get involved. Speak with the organisers today, speak with the people up on stage, speak with United Against Bigotry and Racism, speak with the students, speak with your co-workers, speak with Friends of Palestine, come along to the next nationwide march for Palestine on October 12th and the next anti-fascist protest on October 18th, and let's build a movement that can put these Nazi scum in their place. Thank you.
walk all day that far. But at the end of the day, I come to tell the truth. Now what happened to Camp Sovereignty happened many years ago. In your community, there is a place called Guildford. Now Guildford is the place where Aboriginal people gather when we lose loved ones. It's a church that we go and gather to pay our last respects. But on that church is an Aboriginal sacred ground. Back in the 70s, a group of Aboriginal people camped on the site. It wasn't fighters, it was winos. Back in our days, we used to call them the Malidukas, the men who fought and protected us. See this flag I carry? This flag has been to many funerals. But I see all your brand new flags. This flag has been with many places and travelled the country. But we'll finish off that story. On that night, it was just like an old black and white movie where you see a white man standing at a phone booth smoking a cigarette, and the cigarette is going out, fading away in the dark. Twice he beat. He beat the girl. And on the third beat, they came running like animals. They came running like animals. There was no young men to protect us. There was no young women to protect us. In them days, in the 70s, the city of Perth Knights was the big thing. They left their elders unprotected. These alcoholics, these winos, stood up and fought young men, racists, who came from the Guildford College. I've seen it, and we've seen an Uncle fall, one of the angel men, one of the wino men, one of the warriors, fall and died for every young person who was camping on that site. The Bravo family has been a group of family who is an activist from day one when we were born. I'm not an elder, I'm just a big troublemaker. And when you see me coming, fucking run. Because if I've got something to say, I'll say it. But at the end of the day, truth must come first. If you come to my country, if you sit down in my community, I will tell you the tragedies, the truth, how a homeless woman walked home and a good Samaritan from another country gave her a lift. He told her to fucking put her bags in the back of the car. Once she did it, he ran over her fucking 5 times, killing her. If you come to my country, you don't touch my people. We are the fucking First Nations. We are. We have never left. If I got opinion, and I'll say it, you've got a problem. You think you are the first Australians. Look in the fucking mirror. If you look like me, well, fucking good on you.
Hang on, honey. I just got to introduce Uncle Calvin. Yeah, so next, excuse me, Moretta, have some respect. I want to introduce Uncle Calvin Garland. He is the 2025 Elder of the Year for Perth. And I want you to give him a big welcome and give him the respect that he deserves during that respect.
Thanks very much, Mary. Well, I was one of the men that grew up in the 1960s, and I worked on the farms with my grandfathers and my fathers and uncles, and we worked for no wages. And Australia's built on the black man's back, and we own this country. We just want to say that we want to look after all the fellas that come in here with us, Wajan and Yungas, you know. And today, well, we know that a lot of things happened overseas, and in the war, there's a lot of, in war people get hurt, people get killed, and but we have to try and live together and look after our country as First Nations people. So I want to welcome everybody here today, and thanks very much for the support. And I was voted as the Elder of the Year for the Perth Adult Awards, and I was one of the men that spoke in the federal courts for the native title in 2006. And there's two surviving members now. I was one of the young men, the young lady you're talking about, John Pat. I was up in Rogan in that time before John Pat had died. No, same policemen. They belted me in the van, kicked me in the head and bashed me up. So I've been through that there. So I just want to say today, well, thanks for the opportunity to get up and speak. And we want to try and keep our races in line. Anthony Albanese, he doesn't own Australia. We own Australia. He can't say who comes to the university. Thank you.
Alright, so just because we've had a good march and good things so far, I just want to, before we bring up our next speaker here, which is, he's deadly there, my brother Lenny Colwyn, before we bring him up, I just want to introduce one of our young, deadly Noongar entertainers here, performers. I want you to give him a big welcome. These are original songs he does, you know, sings and writes and produces and stuff. And I want you to give a big welcome to the deadly young Bobby Bonnell.
Hello, my name is Bobby Bennell. I'm 22. Through my mum, I'm Noongar Yamaji, and through my dad, I'm Koori and Yolngu from Northeast Arnhem Land. My dad's father was the late David Goldblum, so I'm his first grandson. But I'm a Noongar. I grew up here. I'm a Bennell, and all these songs. I'm going to do 3 songs for you today, and they're all original songs, written completely by me and produced by me. So this first song is called Land Back. Hope you like it. We walked up on these lands for thousands, but they don't respect us, no. Try to bury us, but they don't see that we're the seeds who watch us grow. Won't hear me singing we are one because you know that trash is weak. Yes, I'm proud to be black every day, not just a week. Just know I will never, 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 ever trade sacred land for a stab. Cause the one thing we want is our land back. Land back. Land back. Cause the one thing we want is our land back. Sacred land belongs in sacred hands. Land back. Just know that everywhere we go, from Bowling Arm to yeah, I would never sell my culture for a meal. I said I would never make up words or go ahead and sign some deal. Never praise the government, the throne ain't where I kneel. I'll never be a sellout, all offense is how I feel. How'd you get away with cultural exploitation? Tell our youth it's alright, manipulate them with lies that you tell. Cardigan that you sell, that's a first class ticket on your ride down to hell. Just I will never, 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 ever trade sacred land for a sky. Cause the one thing we want is our land back, land back. Cause the one thing we want is our land back. Sacred land belongs in sacred hands. love staying from the white man's poison. I put that on my life. I don't need to give no reason. Values don't have a price. As we stood on the sand, they docked and came with a plan. Still the children in land say that it's all in the past, but still it's an open scar. Clearly we haven't come far. Our blood seeps deep into the ground. We're in so out. We are not the problem. Forever sovereign till the day I die. I am not a nuisance. System abusive. Cultures a lunatic. Black power runs through me. Flows down my family tree. What I think they can come from me when I know where my bloodlines be. Ancestors above make sure I'm blessed, so I hold their values on my chest. Knew my mom and from the southwest. Make sure you don't forget. Rusted chains round our neck. Don't show us no respect. They see us walking down the street, think our black skin's a threat. Be proud of who you are. You're hoping for too hard. Stand tall where you at. The storms gonna back you up. We are not the problem. Forever sovereign till the day I die. The system's abusive. Culture's elusive. Make sure you remember all about that we never came here on boats. We've always been here. Our blood runs deep in this country, in this buja. Don't forget that. Make sure you always empower one another, show each other love, because at the end of the day, that's all we've got. I feel like as soon as we have to say, so this illusion fades away. Our story was never told, but we hopeful for a brighter day. Yeah, don't you feel like 26 is a slap in the face, like reconcile, muck around, it's a joke, right? Celebrate what I want, play what I write. Don't go crazy in a flick, show love to your mom, every day, every week. Keep your words out, please, never say my blood, not flow from the land to the sea. Feel so far away, more time on it, only got to light day. Culture through my veins, they help fight the pain away. Look inside yourself and you will find a way. Feel so far away, much I wanna do, only got to light day. Culture through my veins, they help find the pain away. Look inside yourself and go.
Australia needs healing. We all need healing. We're the medicine. We need to stand together in unity. We need to stand together in solidarity. The government, their attitude ripples through society, ripples through the communities all around the world. What we've had to deal with, especially as a young man, racism is an everyday thing, and it's sad to say. For the people who've migrated here in the last 20 years, even worse, more so. But as Australians, my father fought for this country. He fought in Vietnam. He was a Forward Scout. And he fought to have the rights of every other Australian. But yet, as an Indigenous man, I'm not recognised in the Constitution. How so? The racism starts at the top.
Anyone knows anything about the
And when it comes down, we're the ones that are impacted, no one else. Because they don't care what we do. They don't respect us. They've got no love for us. But as a black fellow, my love is out there for everyone. I live on the streets. I'm a traditional owner. And I've been on priority for 6 years. I just not I live under the stars and I love my country. Everyone here should be able to share their wisdom, their culture, their knowledge, and their history. And for these people who stand up and have these protests against Reclaim Australia, what are you reclaiming? Who reclaimed it in the first place? We didn't have anything. You know, they should be ashamed of themselves if they will not hold themselves accountable for their own actions. We suffer immensely, especially when it comes to dealing with the prison system, dealing with homelessness, dealing with struggling in general, and it's hard to get anything done. But for all these people who've migrated in the last 10, 20 years, 5 years, last year, yesterday, you know, they love it here. It comes from here, and they want a better place for themselves as well. They come to a safer country, they come to do these things to think that everything's going to be better. I do not know what the government say to these people. I do not know at all. They keep me out of the loop of everything because I speak the truth and I speak my mind. And I give my love freely, I give my respect freely. As every Australian should. It's a national movement and it should be national, it should be local, it should be everything. What we hold in our hearts, because we are the healers of this country, and we need to heal this country. We need to stand together and we need to come closer. And in a lot of different ways, we all understand the differences. We know these differences. Sometimes we can't respect those differences, but we've got to learn to love each other. And that's what it comes down to, because love conquers all. We're told about the prison systems. We're told about the people who migrated. These people who are protesting down here today as well, they should be ashamed of themselves. I'm ashamed of them. They should not consider themselves Australian. Simply. They're not Australian because we are the true Australians. If we're going to label myself, I don't want to give myself a label. It's going to be a Nyunga Yamaki, Mauna, Wernandi, Bibbleman, Wurrung, Mena, Hingara, Alna. This is my motto. And I can trace back my history to the beginning of colonisation.
blood of Zeus is pretty
All
cool.
this power and all this knowledge that they take for granted, it's bullshit, simple. But we've got to start standing together more as a nation, as a true Australian nation, if that's what we want to be considered as. I love you all, and I welcome you all, and this is our country, and let's work together in unity and solidarity.
I'm connected to other Balamas from India. I've got connection to the Raja. Like Lenny said, that's our great-great-grandmother. Or Lubajan. That was his name. The queen of King's Park. We're proud to be our army, to walk on our land, as our ancestors did before us. But I just want to say one thing I want to say, and it made me better. She's a man, and my sister, Mary McKay, and Shimano, for organizing this march. It's my first march. From King Park, all the way down, St. George's Church, and to Forest Place. Well, this is once called Forest Place, and it's saying Forest Chase. Well, we always know it as Forest Chase. But I'm proud of being a Noongar. My heritage, I'm proud. And all you other members, I'm blessed. Well, we like you. We feel you love. But this will always be. Please, I say it like that. This will always be. Always was. Always will be. I believe you always.
I just want to bring up our next speaker. So we have Mohammed. He's a deadly human rights activist. And, you know, we wanted to have everybody speak today in a show of unity and solidarity. To let everyone know that we have a voice, we all have a voice in this land that they call Australia, even though always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
Always was, always will be. Always was, always will be. Hello everyone. I'd like to thank the organisers and especially Megan for the opportunity to speak. I'd like to start by mentioning a book called Breaking Through Power by Ralph Nader. Ralph argues that concentrated power in corporations, government and media has eroded democracy and marginalized ordinary citizens. He traces how elites maintain control through lobbying, campaign financing, regulatory capture and media manipulation. But rather than offering despair, Nader delivers an empowering message. Power is not unlimited. It can be challenged, it can be dismantled by organized, persistent citizen action. The main takeaway from my talk today, I'd like it to be that it's not enough to just come out and march. I'd like to encourage people to join the different advocacy groups. There are many of you doing really great work. Please join the community, become part of something bigger than yourself. We're advocating for human rights, whether it's LGBTQI rights, Indigenous rights in Australia, Palestinian rights, they're all human rights, and we're here to make a stand for human rights and against oppression and tyranny and corporate interests. Now this country faces a lot of challenges, one of the main ones being the cost of housing. Now some would have you believe that the migrants are to blame, but they won't mention the people who made the rules, the negative theory that gives back millions and millions of dollars of our taxpayer dollars to people who own many, many properties. There is no limit on how many properties you can own, and negative variable will help the ultra-rich maintain their wealth and grow their wealth, while it squeezes the everyday Australian out of the property market. These are issues that all Australians face. It's not a left or right issue, and these are issues that we need to pay attention to more and try and advocate towards. I'd like to finish by mentioning the genocide in Palestine, in Gaza. A study that came out a number of days ago by Dr. Gideon Polya estimated the death toll in Gaza to be at a staggering 680,000 dead, with 380,000 infants. The Australian government is complicit. They are supporting the Israeli government in their genocide, and we are standing against this. We're standing against the genocide. We're standing against any form of occupation. We're standing against settler colonialism. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me speak.
I never want to bring up deadly young men. So we got Bronson Gamby Richards, and he's a Newman Kukulanji man from Queensland.
What a privilege it is to live on Wajak River. Wajra, na wami kupianji, neku puri kegambi, neku kupiri Wajak Puja. Wami ne kupianji, jinalakali Wajak, Pura Mara Umara. My name is Bronson Richards. I'm a Yulmin and Kupianji man. Yulmin and Kupianji, we walk together with Wajak in all nations in solidarity, together, hand in hand. We stand here because the truth can no longer be silent. This country was built on the injustice done to our people. We carried the weight of our ancestors, and it's a privilege that we stand here to fight today. We carry the blood of warriors, the spirit of ancestors who walked this land for tens of thousands of years. Today, we are their voice. Today, we rise as living proof that their strength still runs through our veins. Today, we let those silent all those years be heard. When I stand here, I think about my grandfather Clarence and my uncle Mick Miller and their lifelong fight. Together, they accomplished so much with leaders like Neville Bonner in Queensland. They stood outside of the 1982 school and they protested for their rights, their culture and their identity. Aboriginal people will never be silent when our country, our rights, and our dignity are on line. That courage runs through all your families. It's in our blood, and it's why we stand here today, to carry on that same fight. After many years, the struggle we face has not changed. Our country is still under threat from mining, fracking, and destruction. Governments still try to silence our voices while taking our land and water. They make us look like the bad guys on social media. We know the truth and the real history of this country. That means that we will not step aside. We will keep protecting our country, our communities, and our culture. Because that is our responsibility as knowledge keepers of the oldest continuous living culture. We stand here proud as nations. Sovereignty was never ceded, and it's not just a slogan, it's a truth. And with that truth comes a call to action to the government. We want a treaty and not just symbolic gestures. We want our land recognized and acknowledged, not endless disposition. We want self-determination, not decisions made by us for others. We want equality, equity, and inclusion, and the recognition we deserve as First Nations people. And that's why I ask you to rise up with me. Rise up to feel the privilege of our ancestors chanting our names. I will not fall and I will not go down that way. I will continue to fight for our people. We will rebuild on the soil of our fallen warriors and raise the standards until we are recognised. We will carry it forward until this country and the government hears our voices. This was and always will be our country. Australia, hear our voices. Jinala Darling, we walk together across this country. You will not silence us this time. This has gone for too long and it's time to stop. We are our own sovereign nations, but we stand together in solidarity. My name is Brunson Gigambi Richards. Let my voice be heard for those I speak that couldn't speak, and I will say loud. This was Roger Putin and always will be. Thank you.
We've only got a couple more left. I just want to call up one of our deadly brothers here. You know, he always, every rally we have, you usually see him on the sound and stuff like deadly. Everyone, you know, he's his boss. So I just want to call him up here, Brother Liam, if you want to come up to the stage here. So give him a warm welcome, give him up for our deadly brother here.
Can people hear me clear enough with the mask on? I just want to start by acknowledging the fact that I'm speaking to you on Numabuja. And for me, I want to highlight that I acknowledge country. Some people feel like they have to do it because it's a box-ticking exercise. You're on country, so you have to acknowledge country. For me, the reason that I do it is because I'm engaged in political organizing, I'm engaged in campaigning, and for me there's no point in doing any of that if I'm not reminding myself constantly that every single action that I take on this land is land where people aren't free to do the kind of organizing that I do because they're still being subject to an ongoing genocide, occupation, an invasion where the ability for people to have self-determination and land rights, they're physically stopped from doing that by people who are marching the streets with guns, enforcing an illegal occupation. And so why would I do anything on stolen land without acknowledging that? So I want to start by saying that. Also, there's a lot of different opinions and things that have been said here today. Because we're supposed to be here in solidarity for myself, for allies, I don't want to speak on behalf of communities that are the victims of far-right violence, the First Nations community, the migrant community. What I want to speak to is the people who say that they're showing up to things in solidarity, and I think there's some misconceptions about what that means. I myself am an anarchist, and so that's a different political philosophy to a lot of people. And the reason that I'm an anarchist is because my belief is that the same reason that we oppose Nazis is because they violently enforce hierarchy where they put themselves above other people. And so anarchy to me is about systems where no person is above another person. Free from hierarchy, free from oppression, free from forcing your ideology on other people. And that's what I want to talk about, is the fact that people are talking about being in solidarity when they come to events like this. And what they don't realize is that, or in my opinion, please feel free to agree with me, disagree with me, come talk to me afterwards. But Nazis succeed based on identifying division in a community, and they focus on that and they push and divide. And not only that, but they identify those who are already excluded in society and propagandize to them in a way that makes them feel included. And so solidarity to me means that you can't be in solidarity and you can't stand in opposition to fascism or against Nazis unless you do the opposite of what they're doing. And what they do is they enforce the majority against the minority. They enforce their power over vulnerable communities. And so I don't want to hear from activists, I don't want to hear from non-Indigenous people or political parties saying that they're standing in solidarity if they're not going out and they're not feeding people on the streets, if they're not supporting people who are in prison, if they're not doing what Megan and Marianne do, which is helping people keep their kids when the state is trying to take their kids away from them. If you're not out there protecting the most vulnerable people in the community, you can't say you're standing against the Nazis. Because that's what they do, target vulnerable, depressed community. And so if you as an ally are not doing everything you can to center every vulnerable community. So what I want to end on is that I don't want people to think about what I've said as much as what I want to represent from people I know who can't be here. And that's people I know who are Muslim, who can't go out in the streets because communities that they know personally have had Nazis go into their places of worship and shoot dozens of people. That's real for them. They can't come to an event like this because they're scared of being killed in broad daylight. I know someone who was wearing a hijab who was punched in the face on the train by a stranger who said nothing to them. There are disabled people lying in their bed who can't be here today, who are excluded from most political movements, from organizations that come to you and tell you, we have the answer. And then when those same people in their beds come and say, how can I be included? Can you make this space accessible for me? They say, go away, you're causing problems, you're causing division. How can you say you're in solidarity with anyone? You're standing against oppression, you're standing against fascism, when you're part of organizations that exclude the most vulnerable in society. And so to me, the only thing I want to end on is that a lot of people today will talk about unity, but I think it's also important to talk about that there are divisions in every community, there are differences, and if we don't acknowledge those differences, we can't unify, we can't trust each other, we can't build something. I don't want to hear from non-Indigenous people saying that anyone who takes part in the March for Australia rallies is a stupid racist piece of filth, because Nazis prey on vulnerable people who those same organizations aren't supporting. So how are you expecting people to want to become part of a unified movement when you're just creating more division? You're putting yourself over other people. And so there's no way you can end fascism, end tyranny, end oppression, unless you're recognizing that all people, regardless of differences, deserve dignity, respect, and if you're not standing up for everyone's rights and freedoms and being in solidarity with everyone, then don't even try.
And give a big hand here for our Daily Brothers, Melbourne and Lydia, the flag up on the stage of the flag. Alright, so we're nearly finished. We had two albums saved the best for last year. The Deadly Megan Cracker. Come on, you mum.